Linda Tillman, and we're in the Morningside Community Garden. We're going to inspect all four hives, and you have to have a reason for your inspections, especially at this time of year when it's a dearth. So what we're looking for in the pesticide hive, they had some small hive beetles when we were there before, so we're probably going to put a small hive beetle trap in them and just make sure whether or not they need feeding. This hive I made a split from to help have a brood break for varroa. So we want to find out if this is the hive that has the queen, or if the queen went to the other half of the split, in which case I want to see that they have a queen cell and that they are moving toward creating a queen. The absconding hive, we want to just see what indications do they have in the hive that they've actually moved in. Are they using the frames? How are they using the frames? Have they got a queen? I gave them a frame of brood and eggs. Did they use the brood and eggs to make a queen cell, or have they moved on from, did they already have a queen? And then we'll check the little nuke hive, mostly just to see if they need a new box. And in both of those hives, the absconding hive and the nuke box, we're going to see if they need more food. And we're going to check this hive to see if they need to be fed too. I don't think they do. They had a huge box of honey when I left them 2 weeks ago. So that's what we're doing today. Just by way of getting started, we will look at the entrance of this hive. I've already seen a bee flying in with pollen. But what I saw, and I hope we'll see again, is a bald-faced hornet, which is coming after the young in this hive. And I don't know if any of you have seen one before. They're black and white. There he is, right by the on the screen bottom board. On the robber screen. They're a black and white wasp, and what they want is to capture a live bee and take it home to feed their young. And this time of year, that you'll see there he is. Oh, did he get one? Nope, tried though. I saw him aim for a bee, going for another bee. See, they try to just grab the bee in midair and take it to their young, and they're really horrifying creatures. If you look them up on Wikipedia, they look like something out of Star Wars. Okay, so I just wanted y'all to see that because I think it's interesting. I cut the grass up here yesterday with my weed whacker, my battery-operated weed whacker that I brought home from the mountains. And it was quite an adventure. I'm not a person that uses a weed whacker. This was literally my third time using it. And then I gave up and hired somebody to cut the grass in the mountains. Okay, so I'm puffing the front door with the smoker. And we will see what we see when we go into this. So we take the rock off. We take the top off. Not many bees and 2 cockroaches. News is I open up the top, I look at the top cover. First of all, I don't see a lot of bees, which is not good news, but I don't see any small hive beetles. And this is where we saw small hive beetles before. It's been a while since I've actually opened this top. Woo! That was emphatic. Okay. So, this top box is still empty and there's small hive beetles everywhere. So, where we're going to put a small hive beetle trap is in this box. And we'll do that at the end of the inspection. But you put it in the top because that's where the small hive beetles tend to be found, is in the top. There are lots of bees. They're looking good. There's no queenless roar. We may not do much in here except just make sure they're heavy. That first box I took off, even with just 3 frames, was heavy. Wow. Really heavy, so I know they've got plenty of honey. Oh. Okay, we don't need to feed them, for sure. And they're remarkably calm. So I'm just going to pull up 1 frame from this box. I'll pull up the 2nd frame. I really don't even see much point in doing that. I think I might pull up the 2nd frame from this side. You know, it's going to be a little awkward since I put the top and everything over there. The hard part about filming is I have to keep remembering not to put myself between you and the camera. ordinarily I would do that to get this frame. At this end, there we go. Everybody tells me this is a big year for small hive beetles, and I believe them. This is a nice frame. It has brood, drone brood, and capped brood that's about to emerge. And on the other side, also drone brood and capped brood. We'll take out one more just to make sure. I saw an egg in that last frame, but I just saw one little small area where there might be eggs. And this is not a time of year when the bees are enthusiastic about building up because there's not much to feed the brood. See, this is this is empty. Now I'll see if there's anything in these cells that are empty. Bright light for you to see this one. I'll show you in another, but they're about, I saw at least 20 eggs in this frame. So I'm going to put this hive back together and put a small hive beetle trap on it, and that's all we're going to do with him. This is why I use 10 frame mediums. I can't imagine lifting a deep box up and putting it on a hive. Okay. There isn't the bright light for you to see this one. I'll show you in another, but they're about, I saw at least 20 eggs in this frame. So I'm going to put this hive back together and put a small hive beetle trap on it, and that's all we're going to do with him. This is why I use 10 frame mediums. I can't imagine lifting a deep box up and putting it on a hive. Okay, so we're going to put a small hive beetle trap into this hive. So this is the small hive beetle trap we're going to use. It goes down between frames. So first thing you do is open up the top of the small hive beetle trap. I'm going to put it near the comb, but between the comb and in a frame that's pretty empty. So you push down the small hive beetle trap between the frames, and these arms on it kind of establish its presence in a secure place in the hive. Make sure you can see, and if you can, I'm going to take it over here and show you. So the small hive beetle trap is put down between the frames, and it requires being filled with oil. So I brought, and the easiest way to fill these for me, because my hands shake, is to put them in first and then fill them. So I brought this condiment container, which is a pretty good way to do it because it makes you spill less. So I'm putting oil in it from the condiment container and filling the other side of it. And the small hive beetle falls in here and drowns in the oil. So I might put a second one in before we leave, but I'm just going to put one because there are a lot of small hive beetles in this box. There may be a lot in another box, and we may need it again. So now you shut the top of the small hive beetle trap, and it's securely there in the frame, ready for the box to go over it. And the small hive beetles fall into those little openings, which are not big enough to allow a bee to fall in, and then they drown. So there you see it, all set up. And these two little things just snap down. You pick it up from here, but they just snap down and they make it lie flat. So there's oil in there, and that will get the small hive beetle. So we'll see what we do next time we're back here at this hive. We'll see how well it worked. Okay, now we're going to this hive. We're going to watch it from the front for a minute. I did a split on this hive a couple of weeks ago to help break the brood cycle for the varroa. One side of the split has the queen, I don't know which. So we're going to see when we look in this hive if it looks like it has a laying queen or not. I did see a bee flying in with pollen yesterday, but it may not be that they have a laying queen. And if they don't, what we'll need to do is put in a frame of brood and eggs into this hive from the little nuke hive, which we will do if this hive doesn't show signs of a laying queen. So I'm not watching real closely, but I haven't caught a glimpse of a bee flying in with pollen. Although, like I said, I did see one yesterday. So let's smoke them, and we'll see how they are when we open the hive. A nice number of bees on the top corner. They have not propolised the beer tops. 2 of them did stay stuck to the top cover, so they must have propolised them. Uh-oh, there's a wax moth larva right here. That's a bad news. Not good. May mean these little girls don't have a queen. Lots of bees, no queenless roar, but that doesn't mean anything. No matter what we see in here, I'm very likely to give them a frame of brood and eggs today, just to make sure things are okay. So our goal in looking at these frames is to look for signs of a laying queen or to see the queen. And you know, sign of a laying queen is to see any eggs. So this frame is completely empty of everything. We'll hang it on the side. The big cells on it means that it was either drone brood or was used for honey storage. So here's old brood, but this is old enough that it would have been laid before we did the split, and more than likely this is the side of the split that didn't get the queen. And the cells around this brood are all polished and clean but have no eggs in them. If this is true about this hive, which I think it is, then this is the box. We'll go to the little nuke hive next and get a frame of brood and eggs and put it in this hive. Both sides of the split had brood and eggs, so we need to look in the second box and see, have they made a queen cell? They're so calm that they may have already made a queen cell, but we'll see. Okay, when you do a split like this, you always make sure both sets of bees that you're leaving have brood and eggs, and the brood and eggs that I saw when I left this split were in the second box. So we're gonna look there. I guess I should though, to be a good beekeeper, I should check all of these frames down here to make sure there isn't a queen cell on one of them, but I'm doubting that there is. If there is one, it should be in the second box where we saw the eggs the last time. Lots of pollen, no queen cell. And these are great big cells that they wouldn't have made a queen cell on. So we're gonna put this box back together and really look at the second box. Now they're getting a little tired of this. Why are you here? They're not happy with me. So when you do the kind of split I did, it's called a walk-away split, and you literally split the hive in half, take half the resources to another place, and hopefully they make a queen cell. They each have enough eggs to make a queen cell, and hopefully they do. And then you've accomplished a brood break, which really helps with the varroa mite problem. This hive is very light though. Even though I left them, this was a full box of honey. They had plenty of honey when I left, but I think I'm gonna feed them. I think that's one lesson I have from this hive, is that I need to bring it some food. I don't have any with me today, but I will bring food up here in the next day or two. We're gonna check this box for eggs. I mean for a queen cell. I have a little bit of honey in here, but most of the honey has been eaten. We'll put this one out on the rack. Boy, they've eaten a lot of honey in 2 weeks. They definitely need feeding, and I'll bring them a feeder this afternoon. See, they've eaten all the honey out of this box too. Amazing in 2 weeks, but it's been hot and there's not much nectar. Honey on that, empty brood cells. A little bit of honey, but not a lot. Okay, I'm not even gonna bother. We're gonna definitely put a frame of brood and eggs in here because this one does not have even a queen cell that I can see. So we will leave that space open for the frame of brood and eggs. And cover this box up and go open the other hive. Because this becomes a somewhat urgent situation, the fact that they didn't make a queen cell, and we're getting close to when they kick all the drones out. We need to get this process of getting the new queen done quickly. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is work on stealing a frame of brood and eggs. I've opened this hive up, and it had half a bottle of honey on it. I left a full bottle about 3 weeks ago, so they're taking the honey very slowly, which is fine. I don't need to feed them any more than I have to feed them. And this is going to be a frame that I gave them when we gave them the new box. They're storing some honey in it, probably from what I'm feeding them, because there's certainly any honey out there. I don't know if you can see, they're storing nectar right there. Alright, I don't think there's going to be any brood in this box, but we can know that they are putting up the honey that's being provided to them. They probably are eating some of it too. Oh, old equipment. I just finished breaking the edge of the box. Again, they're storing nectar in here, but that is just what they're doing in here, and that is that. I'll bring a nail back and fix that. Okay, so we're going to take this box off the hive. The leaf of grass that got left in the hive. So I'm going to look more over. The queen on this hive seems to lay on this side of the hive. So I'm going to look over here for a frame of brood and eggs. It does look like they may be only storing honey in this box, in which case this is pointless, but we'll look anyway. Ooh, look at that brood. Goodness gracious. Lots of brood. Lots of holes in it. But this is all brood, so there's no way we can make a queen from this cell. But isn't that, from this frame, but isn't that pretty? We're going to look at the one right next to the wall. To see if it might be the one. And if not, we'll go down one more box. And this is all honey, as the frame next to the side of the box, most usually is. Now I'm going to get stung having not worn a jacket. So I'm going to walk away for just a second. I've been treating this hive the way Julia and I treat hives, like a resource hive. I don't know why my camera keeps turning off, so I don't know if this is going to be any good or not. I've been treating this hive like a resource hive, and that's what we're doing with it today. We're using it as a resource to get a frame of brood and eggs for the hive that needs one. So we're going to try for the third frame in. So I believe it's empty, but let me see. Let's see if she used it. This is the frame I gave her from the other hive that I stole a frame of brood and eggs from. I put in a frame of brood and eggs from this hive into the absconding hive. One thing using a hive as a resource hive does is it means it doesn't outgrow the nuke box. Okay, this frame has lots of little tiny brood in it. This frame has dark brood there, and over on the side it has lots of little tiny brood. And I want to see if there are any eggs. If there are not any eggs, there's no point in taking it. But if there are eggs, this one would be a good one to take. And there are eggs up in this corner. We look on the other side. Oh, there are lots of eggs on the other side too. So we're going to shake the bees off of this. We don't want to take the queen, so we're going to shake all the bees off of this. And we're going to get the bee brush. And brush the bees that are left off of it. Put the cover back on, fill up the little area so that if they need to get in, they can. Okay, we're going to take this straight over and put it into this hive in the space that we left to give them the resources to make a queen. Which this gives them plenty of resources to make a queen. There's still a few bees on it, so I'll make absolutely sure none of them are the queen, and they are not. So we're going to put this frame right down here. This will make this hive happy. Because they now have the opportunity to make a queen. We'll put it back together. And this frame that's all wrapped up is the one we're going to take back over to the new hive. So we've solved this hive's problems. We didn't see small hive beetles in it, except for maybe one or two on the top. Oh, I don't remember seeing them. So this hive needs a feeder, and I will come back and feed it this afternoon or tomorrow. Okay, now we're going to go back to this hive and return the frame, a frame, to the hive from the ones we took. And see, it's good I left that little opening because bees are choosing to go in and out of it. So we're going to open up this frame. Put it down in this hive. Putting this hive back together. I'll put the feeder back on it. Ouch, I just got stung. I put my finger knuckle right down on top of a bee who was eating honey. Hive that absconded or tried to at my house, and I haven't been in it. I set it up over here a week and a half ago. I've only opened the top to feed it, and I opened it to add a frame of brood and eggs last Monday. So it's had a frame of brood and eggs for a week. If they needed a queen, they will have made a queen cell. I know exactly where that frame is because it's in this top box. So I'm going to be very careful taking it off to see if there is a queen. All right, I'm going to pop up at the front door. Take off the top, which won't be probilized because it's not over the hive, it's over the feeder. Look, here's a bald-faced hornet. Oh, I'd love y'all to see him up close. He's a cannibal. There he is, the black and white wasp. You've probably seen them on your hives. They're kind of scary. Even scarier is the European hornet, which is red and yellow and pretty scary too. But this one always makes me think of Star Wars. He has on his armor. Let's see, let's take off this box with the hornet. Put the feeder box over here. And then I'm going to take this off. And remember, I staple gunned it, and part of it I think is staple gunned to the box below, so it's going to pull off the staples in that one area. I'll cover up the feeder so that it doesn't become an invitation to other bees. And then we'll see what we can find in this box. What I want to know is, are they using the frame I gave them to make a queen cell, or did they need to, which they may not have. I put it right in the middle of the box. So we're going to do like we always do and come in with the second frame. They seem calm for bees that wanted to get out of Dodge last week, or a week and a half ago. So maybe a change of scenery was just exactly what they needed. Although from what we know of absconding, if I weren't feeding them, they would be just as in need. Okay, so they are storing the honey that I gave them and whatever they had engorged in their honey stomachs. They've put in this frame. Now I may, just for the safety of the queen cell, if there is one, I think I'm going to take 2 frames out and put them on the rack so there's no chance of this is also not going to be the one that I gave them. It's also just fully storing honey, so I feel very good about this hive. It's not going anywhere. They've decided to stay there storing their honey. Alright, so now I think this next one is the one that I put in with eggs. No, it's not. It's the one next to it. This one has wet capped honey. They have really done fast work of restoring, if that's a word, their honey. I know restoring is a word, but is restoring a word? They stored it again. They have proceeded to store their honey. Probably both the honey they engorged in their honey stomach and the 5 quarts I've given them. But it's reassuring to know they have definitely moved in. So yay. This one has honey all in it too. Let's look on this side. Let's see, let me look real careful. Oh look, let's see. There's a queen cell. Right? There's it. It's small, it hasn't. Here it is. It's not very big, but they made a queen cell out of one of the eggs I gave them. Here's another one that was started but ripped open. They must decide they didn't like it. And they may have made this one that they're protecting right now for insurance. It doesn't mean they don't have a queen, but it does mean that they are, well, that one is ripped open. I don't know if it's ripped open from the hive I got it from. There are two of them ripped open. So I don't know if what that means is that their queen turned up or started laying again. So we'll go down further in the box to see. I'm going to just point to them and hope y'all can see them. There are two ripped open queen cells here, and they're ripped from the top up, which is really unusual. I don't know that it's usual or unusual. I don't know what bees typically do, but. And then on this side, there is a queen cell they haven't ripped, which is right here. It's very small, and another one that's ripped in the same way that those two are. So who knows what that's about? But that is the story of the brood situation in this box. And we're going to move this box and go down further and see what we see. Push that over really good. And now I'll put these back that I have taken out. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom box and look at it to see if there's a sign of a queen laying. Not many bees, and small hive beetles. And this is a mostly empty box. These frames don't have drawn comb in them except for one. So we'll look at the one that has drawn comb in it, and then we'll go back into the box we were just in. And then I'm going to put a small hive beetle trap in this hive too. There are not thousands of them, but enough. It makes you want to wonder. So let's get this other box back up here and let's look through it to see. I'm worried because they have such a tiny little queen cell and they ripped those other ones open like they didn't like them. They didn't come out the way they wanted them to or something. I mean, I would think it would be for two reasons. One, that there's already a laying queen, or two, that there was something wrong with them. They came from the little nuke hive. They should have been great. On that frame. Also need to see if y'all can see. I don't think you can. queen didn't come in the move. Oh, huge queen cell. Wow, look at this. Can y'all see it? This is why they're getting rid of those other queen cells. They want their own genetics. So this is called an emergency queen cell. We're gonna put it back in and we're gonna leave this alone and close this hive up. If they have an emergency queen cell, which is what bees do when they don't have a queen, but these bees wanted their own genetics. So they made an emergency queen cell from one of their previous queen's eggs, which is just fine, because actually it's her genetics that were in the ones that they tore up, but that's all right. So well, let's just hope, hope, hope she emerges and gets gets mated, because this is getting tight for the mating kind of thing. But hooray! Okay, we're good. Okay, so a hive with a queen cell in it like that, they're dependent on that queen cell. We're not going to open them now for probably a good 2 or 3 weeks, because we want to give that queen a chance to come out. She's probably not quite a 2-week-old queen cell at this point, and so she'll emerge sometime in the next week. Get another small hive beetle trap. It's usually good to put small hive beetle traps in the more upper boxes, because that's where the small hive beetle typically hangs out, unless they're doing bad things to the hive. We're going to do exactly what we did before. Which is I'm going to find a nice spot between frames. This looks pretty good to me. Put it in. Take my squirt bottle and put in oil. And put in oil on this side. And then close the top. I need my hive tool to get rid of the wax that's up here on top of the hive. It's making it not go flat. Okay, there, that's done. Now we can put it back together. This is kind of funny. The bee on the honey jar, on the base of the honey jar, has honey on her butt, and the bee that's running around behind her is trying to eat it off of her butt. I wonder how that little bee feels about being treated that way. She'll have lots to tell her therapist. And I have to say this happened unintentionally, but unintentionally the bald-faced hornet got caught between the layers of the boxes and is not going to be killing any more of my bees. So what that means about this hive is that the queen either got killed, injured, or didn't make the move. And that's why the bees have made a new one. But they've made a good emergency queen cell. It looks really like a nice big queen. So let's hope she hatches in the next day or two, flies out and gets mated before all the drones have gone away, and life is good. So Thank you for joining me. I'm gonna go home and take a shower.